So it is a couple days later now, because when I went outside, it was windy and they were clearing some land a little ways away from here, and the smoke from the wood burning was just totally coming over. Wasn't the greatest of visibility, and I kept sneezing, so I thought, well, we'll just wait. And then of course there was rain, and then there was, a day off with my honey. So here I am a few days later, and I am in the driveway. So I'm gonna start from outside of the property, and I'm gonna walk you through the front area and show you all that's been going on over here. So starting by the mailbox. Here by our mailbox, I just planted some canna lilies, and then we've just got some bare spot here outside of the fence. So I've got some pampas grass planted right there at the edge before you go into the hunting grounds. And then I deciding what to do over here. So this area gets really wet. This area gets really wet here. This is still wet a little bit up here. There's a lot of water that comes along here. It's really a lot of clay in this area, but I'm thinking about putting in some willows because they grow like insanely fast, and I mean you could get like 10-foot growth in the first year. So, but I don't know, I don't want them to do I want them to take over? I don't know. So, but I need to put something here for the privacy side of things, because we are like right off the road, and I don't like, since I have to garden in the front yard for all the sunlight, I don't like that it's gardening in front of the whole world, Not that there's a whole world here, but anyway, I want some privacy. I want to create like a, a secluded, area that you have to enter the gates to see, really. So I do want to plant I think like a pretty tree or a big bush here, and then maybe a matching one or something else over here. This is pretty when it was blooming. It's got a tree growing up in the middle of it now I got to take out, and then all of this stuff is coming out. I just haven't had a chance to tackle this project yet, but I don't even, not high on my list, or not looking forward to it. But and then this, they just kind of, ripped up because I told them I wasn't concerned about it when they put the fence in. But anyway, so there's the front. Then we come up to the gate. So I wanted you to get to see the faraway view so you can get a little bit of a scope for it. So this is the space where, as you can see, there's a lot of sun. So this is where I'm going to be doing all of the edible stuff that needs all the sunshine. So I have a lilac bush right there, small one, and then I want to put some other stuff here too. May move the lilac bush. I want to put in a tree. We want to put in some pretty stuff, some colored things, like maybe a Japanese maple, maybe a cherry tree. Oh, cherry trees are awesome. So there's that, and then all along this here I have planted blueberries. I have some bare root blueberries that are doing amazing. 8 of them here, one each a different variety. And I have I built it up a little bit behind them a bit because this is the way the water drains, so it'll collect a little bit more of the water here. And then transition to elderberries. So the first one I planted didn't make it. So this is a replacement elderberry I got from a different spot, and it's a super cute one, new variety. Actually, I know this variety, ranch elderberry. The other ones, I don't really know a specific variety on them, but they are doing amazing. So I have 5 more, 2, 3, 4. These 4 look all the same. And then this 5th one is a different variety. These may be the native ones, the smaller leaved ones, and I think this one is a nursery one because it's bigger. And this one already has some buds on it. Look at that. Awesome. Oh, and I have one cassava tree, and I knocked the branch off of it throwing dirt around, and so it is regrowing here, which is really cool. This area I just put some mulch from the hunting grounds over here, and then some compost down on top of it, and then I brought over some of the tall grass that I love and then the dogs love to pee on too. So my thought was I'd plant wildflowers here, but the dogs love this area so much, and it's really shady, so they like to lay on this new soil now that is here, and they like to look at our neighbor's dog over there. So I started this bed here. This bed's gonna be artichoke and comfrey, and then peppers. These are some pretty peppers. These are like variegated, multicolored ones that I wanted to have here just for some prettiness. And then another artichoke. And I'm also gonna put in some of those seeds I need to plant. My poppies and chia are gonna go in here as well. I'm really excited about that. And I don't know what this guy is here right in the middle, but he looked really sad. But he's actually got a branch that's alive, so he's making a comeback. So we're gonna let him go for a bit and see what happens. But as you can see, I have enough space here for an entire second row of something. So maybe more blueberries, more elderberries, a different berry, bushes, something. But I do want to frame this driveway a little bit more. It's more of a grand entrance when you come in. So this definitely is where a lot of the water runoff is. So I just put some leaf mulch here to just kind of soak up some stuff, and planted a butterfly bush there that lasted through the winter and is gonna give it a go now, which is cool. And then I have another lilac bush here, and then we've got some chokeberries, 2 chokeberries here. These are really cool. They look like a twig. I mean, the support that I put in here, just if they need it, is bigger than they are. This is a little twig. I mean, really? But look, it's actually popping up down there. Super excited about that. So this is a black chokeberry. It's an aronia berry, which is a superfood. You buy this as a powder, so I'm really excited about them. And they're super pretty in the fall. They get like really colorful leaves and all. They are a favorite of deer, so I have 2 others, and I didn't put them all here by the fence just in case the deer like reach over. And here's another elderberry. This guy I put here. Oh, where'd my tag go? Oh no. Oh no. Did I take a picture of it before I lost it? Uh-oh. Not good. But the row that everything else is in doesn't have another sunny spot. I didn't want to put it on the other side of the blueberries, so I put him over here, and he's a different height and a different style. Like, I think this one said that the berries grow underneath of the leaves, so it's even more protected from wildlife. So I thought, okay, this guy can maybe handle being by this fence. So this is my bed that I went for it with the tomatoes. 60 foot long, and I managed to fit in 40 tomatoes. I was bummed because I really wanted one every 2 foot, every 1 foot, but these guys here are determinants, and so they say they're going to be bushier. So I gave them like a generous 2 feet, so we'll see. Basil, my sunflowers are sprouting, and I'm going to come back in, and there's a couple gaps I'm seeing, so I'm going to put in some extra seeds. And then once these guys are about 5 inches or so tall, I'm going to come back and plant the beans around them, and they're going to use them as a trellis. And I am putting logs everywhere as fencing, and so far my dogs are being really respectful of it. So once I put this up, they can step over it, even they can walk over it, but they've been really good about it, so it's awesome. I'm so grateful for that. Then what do we got here? One random thing over here. This is gonna be a little fruit tree guild I'm gonna create here. This is my fig tree. This is a Chicago Hardy. Planted him in the ground. It's beautiful. Got a really nice like stem to him and all. Nice and strong looking. Looks like he's gonna branch out a couple ways, and I think he's gonna be really big and awesome. So put him here in a great sunny spot, and I'm gonna create a big circle around him and plant other complementary plants. But he's really tiny right now, but you see I'm not letting Kerwin cut any of this. I mean, we've got random sweet gum trees trying to pop back up. They did cut down several trees, and so those are from the roots that are still growing. Where I put this teepee is also over top of a big root that was cut down. It was kind of a bare spot anyway. But just letting the lawn grow right now to see what's all here. I mean, there's random grass, and you can see it's popping up and going to seed now. A lot of just native flowers and kind of, you know, weeds, quote unquote. The bees loved these flowers here when they were blooming. The teepee. I am really excited about this. This is gonna be cucumbers that I'll be growing here. And then I'm also thinking that I might put some squash along here as a ground cover. And then there's space, you know, there's space to move. And if I do put the squash, I'll have to put a fencing on it. But actually, I planted some seeds, cucumber seeds here. And no joke, like a minute from my walk away, Larkin came over here and dug it up. And I'm like, why? This has been sitting here for a week. And I put seeds there. You didn't dig up the ones I planted, but you dug up the seeds. I'm like, what the heck? So I'll still have to probably fence this anyway, because they'll be super curious about it, especially as things start to grow. But these are just branches that I, you know, pulled off from around in the area here. And I thought about trimming all the side branches off of them and left them in a pile for a while. And then one day I just decided to come out and see how this would work. And it started to go together. And so I just kept putting more branches up, and I didn't trim anything off of any of them. Well, this one I'm going to come back in and cut off because that's right in the middle. But I have my little access area here where I could get in and, you know, harvest anything. I did tie off this first area, but then I wanted it to be taller, so then I just started building on like a second section. So that still needs to be tied up, but it's pretty secure. I don't know about a major windstorm, but over here is the newly crowned potato bed. These were potatoes that I threw into another bed as just food scraps as I was building the bed, and then they sprouted. And I was like, well, you can't not let a volunteer grow, so I transplanted them over here, and they're just loving it. So I have more that keep popping up. I don't know. Just be careful when you put potatoes out. They sprout, even when they're rotten and old and ugly looking. They sprout. My lilac tree here was such a twig, it didn't make it. We got a bee balm bush there. This was gonna be, I think, perennial flowers and different things, but you know, now it's potato bed. I have another lilac there. And then I planted some saltwort seeds here. I'm really curious to see how those turn out and taste. Sound amazing. Lilac and another bee balm. This is actually the same bee balm. I just split it in half before I put it out because it was already so big. And I have some cauliflower because I needed a spot for my cauliflower. So I'm like, well, you're just going here. And then I have a comfrey, fig tree, and my perennial basil. So that's kind of cool. I want to keep my perennial. I do want this to be perennial at some point, and I want to create like another guild around this fig tree and have other things. So that's why the comfrey is there, so I can chop it down and let it feed into the soil. Also going to make some comfrey tea out of it as fertilizer, but I'm getting wet here. So that's this bed, and that stick is going to be a branch. I mean, going to be another post once I trim off those stragglers, but it's enough of a deterrent for the dogs right now. I'm telling you, they're being so cool. It's just amazing. And then these actually are the tops of the fence. When they put it in, I asked them if I could keep those. So that's what I've been using for all of my posts everywhere. I do need to cut a couple in half because they're just too tall. So there's that area. This bed has just evolved into an everything bed, but it started out as being, I wanted to have 3 trees, and I was going to create just the space around them, much smaller space, and then I just kept digging up more grass and weeds and needing space for things. I'm like, well, I've already got this here, let me just add some more. So then I did. So now I've got all kinds of stuff in here. Let me back up for a second here and tell you that my plan is to create a space that is edible, that doesn't look like row upon row upon row of back-to-back just structured garden space. You know, I'm trying to create a beautiful environment like the teepee that's gonna grow food, but it's just, to me, it's yard art, you know, and it was fun and I love looking at it, and so now it's gonna grow food too. And a bug, they just land on you. Like, don't land on me. So that's one thing, is I just want it to be pretty everywhere. And so I want to create, you know, fruit tree guilds, you know, perennial things around these fruit trees, you know, add in a few annual things and all, but I'm trying to create an environment, a lush space that is beautiful, supports wildlife, has edible stuff everywhere, nothing thorny. I'm still going with that, nothing thorny, or yeah. So that's one plan. Second plan is to just get it in the ground, because I can always tweak things, change things, you know, move beds around and whatnot, but I need to get it in the ground now, because time is growing right now. As nature doesn't wait. You know, nature's on its own schedule, and if I want to have an amazing harvest this year, I need to get it in at the right time, and that time is now. So that's what I'm doing. As fast as I can cart soil around and layer these beds together, I'm getting them planted. So those are my two ultimate driving guidelines right now. And then the third thing is like I planted 39 basil and 40 tomatoes on that 60-foot long bed. Do I need that many basil? I don't even know that I can preserve that much basil. But grow food is this, what I keep hearing, you know, this urgency that I feel is to just grow food. The basil is going to help the tomato grow. It's going to keep pests away. How many ways can you use basil? Just watch me find all kinds of ways. Can I sell it? Can I share it with neighbors? Yes, you know, and right now it's not, space isn't holding me back. The lack of space or restrictions from an HOA, not being able to grow in your front yard, or the climate, I mean, that's not holding me back right now. So I feel like I need to grow as much as I can while the time is right. So there will come a point when I can't plant any more tomatoes, because they're just not, I'm not gonna get a harvest out of them before it gets cold. So I still have tomato seeds growing inside, but until that point comes, you know, as long as I have soil that I have access to, we've got just amazing resources on our own property, why not? I'm not spending an arm and a leg to buy these raised beds. I'm just using wheelbarrows to move stuff around. I'm getting compost a couple miles away from here. It's at a great price, and so I'm like, it's not costing an arm and a leg to do this. You know, seeds are so much cheaper than seedlings. Could I have put in 40 tomatoes if I bought seedlings? You know, times $4 to $5 per seedling? No, it wouldn't have happened. But I'm growing it from seeds, you know, so all of these things are making it possible for me to do more, and so I'm only limited right now by my energy and time, right? So I feel like I need to grow as much as possible as long as those conditions are ripe for it. So that's what I'm doing, and if it sounds crazy, maybe it is, but I have a plan to never buy another tomato again. You know, I want to have spaghetti, and I want to have sliced tomatoes on sandwiches, and I want to have a tomato powder in my pantry, and I want to have sun-dried tomatoes. I want food in my own pantry all year round. So that's why I'm growing as much as I can right now. Okay, so back to the tour. In this one-day perennial herb bed fruit tree guild that is, I don't know, 6 feet wide, maybe 7 feet, I don't know. I have some of that cabbage here. See, look how baby they are, you know, so hopefully they'll, like, you know, straighten up and fly right and do something before it's too hot. So I have 2 rows of those. I have a row of radishes here that are looking really good. 25-day radishes, which is cool. I have some burdock root here. These guys are perennial. And I have yarrow. I have a tea leaf tree, which is really kind of cool. And I've got some herbs over here. So what is that? Sage. My finger doesn't look the same on the camera. I'm running. So sage, that Cuban oregano back there that's not really happy about the cold that it got hit with. And then what is this other tall one? I forget. Oh, it's a tar. Oh, yeah, that's why I got you, because I love that. So interesting. Totally smells like thyme. Then I have strawberries. Some strawberries along here. See, got a couple red ones in there. Strawberries are kind of all along in a row here. Some peas that are doing really well. What is it, lamb's ear, lamb's quarter? Lamb's ear? I don't know which is which. Random arugula, it's getting too hot for. This is my French sorrel that I brought from Las Vegas. Onions, some dill, some parsley, some sage on here. Dwarf kale, another row of it there. Then I've got oregano in this little row there. That's sage, nap cabbage. This is my avocado tree that I killed because I didn't protect it correctly. Garlic. I don't know what this guy is, but he popped up, so I don't know if he's like a big weed. But he popped up in something that got like, it's like it got killed in the cold and then it popped up, so I don't know. I need to figure out this guy, either pull him or use him. Another one of my French sorrels. This is some leaves, lettuce, I forget the name of it, but it did really great. Survived all through the winter and it's been growing. So now I gotta start harvesting some. Look at that. This looks so good. So let's get some really big leaves here. That's awesome. More peas. This is another fig tree that I've got right there. And then, what is this guy? It's another perennial, penstemon. There you go. It's a penstemon. I don't know the variety name, but it's beautiful, isn't it? It's just starting to flower too. My cilantro that's gone to seed here, we're just gonna let it go. Well, it's flowered, now it's going to seed. There's another sage back there. My purple tree collards, I got 4 of them here. More cilantro. This was an anise right here. Don't know if it's gonna make it back or not. A couple random strawberries in there. Got a rosemary right here. Lavender's there. Yeah, and that's that bed. And then I got this green stalk here that I'm doing. I tore it down and repotted it because the soil in there was too heavy, so I actually put potting soil in there this time, which is better. And then actually these are really deep ones and then these are shallower ones, but half of each of them I actually put chopped up leaf mulch in there and then that potting soil. And so I've got my miracle kale down here. I've got a row of beets by seed, another row of beets by seed, and there they are sprouting already too, which is really cool. Look at that. Got some flowers. These are stock, peppermint, another row of kale. This is the ragged jack kale, and then some more of that dwarf kale. And right now I'm finding that watering here isn't really helping. Like, it doesn't water the top of the soil enough for like these short little guys or for the seeds, so I'm still having to come out and splash water, or I position it so that with the sprinkler that's going on over there, it will actually, you know, get some water on there too. So then in this pot I have another fig tree, lavender with some more peas, putting peas everywhere, right? And then more oregano, just to cover the soil is what I'm trying to do, just to keep things a little bit cooler. And then some more lavender. Gotta still put these in the ground. My plan is to do a lavender row. Well, actually, this is going to be the new pathway to the front door. I plan to put another little fence post here. This is a row of shallots that's in the ground, and I wanted to put a row of lavender all along behind it. Actually, I was going to frame it in lavender and put I got, you know, a couple there, and I was gonna do the matching lavender, 2 of each variety, 1 on either side. But now I don't really have space to lavender unless I dig out more grass, make it wider. So for now, I'm just gonna work on putting all the lavender along this row here until it meets back there. I've got a Rose of Sharon here, which is doing really well. It's gonna get really nice, big and bushy and decently tall, so I'm excited about that one. Pretty flowers on it too. And another lavender in a pot. I don't know why I didn't plant anything to cover the soil in this one, except just recently I did some garlic chives by seed in there. Here's some more of the lavender. Gonna be framing, you know, our path. And then you got, you know, dog toy for staging purposes, and then hostas perennial coming up here, which is cool. My thought was that coming from the front porch, we would create like a path, you know, kind of like framed by the lavender, and then go out to something in the center area of the yard. But I haven't, you know, settled on a design for that yet, which is why I haven't done anything. Not the most crucial thing right now either, but it's really why I didn't want to put garden in there yet, because I'm still tweaking my ideas and really watching where the shade is and how it moves and all that. So then there's this bed. This bed's definitely a work in progress too. Needs some help. I don't know what happened to my beautyberry bush right there that just like 2 days ago decided to just like kind of croak. It looked like that one, and then boom, it just like, what the heck? So here I'm trying to plant some wildflower seeds that grow in the shade. So we'll see how they turn out. I don't know how much they tolerate getting dry, because this is a hard area to keep wet. There's nothing else there right now. It's just pretty bare, you know, so I don't know how they're gonna do, but we'll see. So that's this bed. I'm gonna head over to our new area there. Here I have one more of the chokeberries. This guy hasn't sprouted yet, so with any new life yet, so we'll see. And then I have the 4th one is right there in the corner, and he's coming up with some leaves even now, which is really exciting. This here is in the hunting grounds, but close enough to the front yard. This is my pepper bed. I'm really looking forward to how this grows. I do also have like comfrey in here, and then I planted some random basil in there for the bug stuff too, a few of the catnips, and then the really small guys are burgundy okra. That's going to grow up taller and then provide some shade and wind buffering for the pepper plants. Mostly I did plantings of 3 groupings, like in one hole. There's like 3 plants there for more shade and support branch-wise and all for the weight of the produce and stuff. So I was happy with all that got in here. I jammed in a lot, and I'm really excited about it. These are only hot peppers. And then this is going to be our chicken coop. Once you get to that, basically that bed is kind of gonna wrap around and come down all along here. This gets really nice, good sun in the morning too, and then it's gonna basically meet up with this bed. I will leave some gaps so I can get through and not have to walk all the way around. I still have that many tomatoes still to plant that are in pots and ready to go. The rest are in the house still growing, and they're tiny, but yeah, so I still have to get the tomatoes all on the ground. And so I'm going to extend the bed down. That's what the cardboard is there for. I'm going to extend this one down another maybe 20 feet that way. Before that patch of like dirt there, that's where it gets really sopping wet down there. I just want to avoid that area for now, so I'm going to stop before then. But then this bed here is another one of my accomplishments that I'm proud of and happy for. I've got all of these peas popping up. I've got just some sticks in there to give them some trellis support. I've got some chamomile. This is a perennial chamomile. I'm all about the perennial stuff, can you tell? What is it? The Roman chamomile. Flowers a little bit differently, like less branching of flowers, so more single stalk type kind of flowers, but seems really hardy for a lot of cold areas, so I'm excited to have that. It's already getting huge. And more of the potatoes that are popping up. And it's crazy because this is garlic, which of course, you know, is another root crop. And then look at all these potatoes. Potato, 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 potato. It's like, oh my gosh. Oh, and another one, potato. If I dig these out, it's like, how many times can I dig up the garlic before the garlic just says, screw this? So I don't know. I'm debating, should I leave these in and just let them grow? Should I cut them so that they just cut the tops off and call it a loss? Since I've already saved so many volunteers, should I dig them up again? I don't even know what to do. But then I have blackberry over here. This guy is sprouting. I'm so excited about this one. There's an anthill that popped up here like crazy, and I'm like, what? So I poured hot water all over it and like flooded them out, and yeah, they haven't rebuilt yet. So I think I'm safe to, you know, to fix it up again, you know, and give it a go. So we'll see. And then look at these. Look at how amazing these guys are doing. They are loving their spot right here. It's awesome. And then my other blackberry is doing really well right there too. Look at that. Looking so good. I just expected it to come out on the branches, but everything's popping up really down low. Like the chokeberries too, so interesting. And then my strawberries. Planted all along here. A whole row of them. And then in the center is where I have 33 second year crowns of asparagus. Purple Passion and Jersey Night. And then because there was space, I was like, ooh, here's all that cabbage that I had. Like something like 40 of them I put in. Could you imagine trying to buy 40 starts? I'm telling you, seedlings are super expensive. Grow your own stuff. It's amazing. And some of them are starting to decide that they like the space. Like some of them are still like this guy over here. He's like really still tiny. He's like, I'm not sure about this. But then that guy's getting a little bit bigger. And then look at this one. He's like, yeah, man, I can do this. I can do this. So there's hope. I have pulled more weeds so far here than I ever pulled in my entire life in Las Vegas. That may be a slight exaggeration, but seriously, there are like weeds here. Last but not least, are you ready for this? You still with me? This is actually my first creation. My first plan. Hadn't really even like unpacked anything, and had already found about getting some raised beds, and was on the schedule to get them delivered because I needed someplace to put garlic like right away. So here are 10 raised beds. These are the Brussels sprouts that I apparently planted too late in the season. Apparently they need to go in more like end of August, and I didn't get them in until like, I don't know, October-ish sometime. But we're letting them go to seed. The bees are happy with the flowers, and hopefully I can get some seeds from them and then try again this August. Garlic, peas back there. Random plant, I don't remember what it was that I put in. I need to look it up. Garlic, chives. I got random cauliflower that I kind of planted in every little hole. There's more peas. These are pretty guys. Look at the flower. And then I've got some cilantro in here. In between this one is elephant garlic. More garlic. And then more cauliflower mixed in. A random one there. Random one there. And there. So definitely getting shaded. So the thought is these guys are little, so hopefully they will still be able to produce because they're protected supposedly from all the aphids because of the garlic. They're getting shelter from the heat of the sun when it gets hot. So I'm hoping that that's going to extend the life of these guys long enough that even though they're still so small, that they'll have a shot to grow and produce. Then you got, look at these. Look at the size of these guys. So exciting. So exciting. Got the German chamomile back here. Got a row of it starting to come up. Just kind of threw some seeds in there. Arugula is trying to go to seed over here. I do need some seed, but not yet. And some shallots are right there. This is garlic, can you tell? This would be more garlic. Another arugula. I've got some mustard greens in here. These guys are the ones that I planted back before we had the 20 degrees and the ice storm and all, and they survived through it. And look at how well they're doing. Some lettuces, some spinach is in here. I have one kohlrabi. I got this one kohlrabi as a thank you gift for all the other seedlings that I bought. Yes, I've bought seedlings, even though I'm growing all my own stuff too. Here's the Malabar spinach that's not really liking it here. Kale, some of the ragged jack kale, some of my miracle kale back there. Last bed, more random mix of all the cauliflower and cabbage and some walking onions. And this, I don't know, it's kind of looking like purple sprouting broccoli. Looks like a kale too, but wow, maybe it actually is a kale. So there you have it. These took forever for me to get them filled. So there you have it. That's how things are right now. Between part 1 and this part, I did get a few more things in the ground, but because I kind of have plans for all the beds that are available now. A lot of work, a lot of stuff to create here still, but this is where we are at this moment, and it's kind of cool all that I've gotten done. It's nice to see the progress. I will try and do these on a semi-regular basis throughout, this year, to kind of show how things have changed and grown and what I add and how the, crops are growing and all of that. So if you have any questions or suggestions on what I could plant where, or design ideas and all, I'm open to all of it. There you have it. I don't know if this is at all entertaining, informative for you to see my space and what I've got. I should look for a first picture when we came. You can kind of see the difference, but obviously everything I've showed you wasn't here before. I've put it all in. We put in the nice fence, around this front yard so the dogs can be out with me. Sometimes it seems like nothing. Everything I put in this yard just kind of gets swallowed up. It's like so much space here. But I really have done a lot, because look how long I've been talking on this video. So there you go. If you're still here, thanks for watching. This is my thrift store find hat that is amazing for shade. I'm loving it. So thanks for watching, and I will see you, or you will see me again on the next video. Bye for now. And one other thing. Yes, I did create myself a watering challenge because of not creating one central garden area with, those rows and, one fence around the thing, and I could put a sprinkler in the middle and water the whole thing. Because I didn't create that, I do have like watering challenges. There is no irrigation here, so it's going to be interesting to see how it develops this year with the rain, how much rain we get that actually is enough to water the garden crops, and how I do moving sprinklers around. So we'll see.